You ever wonder how your email just knows what's spam and what's important, or how streaming services seem to read your mind and suggest the perfect movie? Well, a lot of that magic comes down to two key ideas of machine learning: clustering and classification. They might sound kind of the same, but they're fundamentally different, and today we're going to break down exactly what makes them tick.
Believe it or not, it all boils down to this one simple question. Seriously, how you answer this is pretty much the dividing line between these two powerful techniques. It's what determines if you're trying to predict something you already have answers for, or if you're on a mission to discover patterns nobody's even seen yet.
And I love this analogy. Think of it this way. Sometimes you have a teacher with a perfect answer key. They can guide the learning process. That's what we call supervised learning. But other times, you're more like a detective. You've got a pile of clues, unlabeled data, and you have to piece it all together yourself to find the hidden story. And that's unsupervised learning.
So let's walk down that first path, the path of supervised learning. This is the world of the teacher. This is what you do when you already have a bunch of data with the correct answers, and your goal is to teach a machine how to do that same labeling task, but, way faster and on a huge scale.
And that brings us to classification. The official definition is right here, but what does it really mean? It's supervised because we're literally supervising the algorithm. We're giving it a ton of examples that are already correctly labeled, like a study guide, so it can learn from them.
Let's make this super simple. Imagine you have thousands of pictures of fruit. You've gone through and labeled every single one as either apple or orange. So you feed all of this to your algorithm. It starts to pick up on the patterns, the roundness, the color, the size. Eventually, it learns the difference so well that when you show it a new picture of a fruit it's never seen before, it can confidently say, yep, that's an orange.
At the end of the day, this is the one question classification is built to answer. What class does this belong to? The key thing here is that the classes, the categories, are already known. We've defined them from the start.
And you see this everywhere. That spam filter we talked about? It's deciding if an email belongs to the spam class or the not spam class. When an ATM reads the numbers you wrote on a check, that's classification. It's all about putting things into neat, predefined boxes. Okay, but what if you don't have any labels? What if you just have a giant, messy pile of data and no answer key? Well, that's when you call in the detective. That's when we take the path of unsupervised learning.
And this is where clustering comes in. It's unsupervised because there's no teacher. There's no one telling the algorithm what's right or wrong. It just dives into the data all on its own and starts looking for things that are similar to each other, forming natural groups or clusters.
Let's go back to our fruit example. This time, imagine you just dump a whole basket of fruit in front of the algorithm. No labels, the algorithm has no idea what an apple or an orange is, but it can see features. It can see that some fruits are round and orange, and others are kind of round but red. So it starts making piles. It puts all the similar-looking things together, creating these groups from scratch. You see the difference? The question here isn't about what class something belongs to. It's a much more fundamental question. How is this data organized? It's all about finding the hidden structure that's already there, waiting to be discovered.
And this is incredibly powerful in the real world. Companies use clustering to discover different types of customers they never even knew existed. News websites use it to automatically group stories about the same topic together. It's a tool for pure exploration and discovery.
All right, so we've met our teacher and our detective. Now let's put them side by side to really hammer home the differences between them.
This table really lays it all out. Just look at the input data row. It's a night and day difference. Classification absolutely needs labeled data. Clustering works with unlabeled data, and their objective is completely different. One is for predicting things we already know about. The other is for discovering things we don't.
If you want the simplest way to remember it, think of it like this. Classification is like sorting mail into mailboxes that are already labeled. Bills, letters, junk mail. The categories exist. Clustering, on the other hand, is like getting a huge, messy pile of mail and creating the piles yourself as you go.
Now, here's where it gets really cool. You might think these two methods are complete opposites, that they're rivals, but actually, they can work together in a really powerful way.
And this is the secret sauce. A lot of times, you use the detective, clustering, to do the initial legwork. It discovers the groups, and then you can use that information to fuel the teacher or the classifier.
Okay, check out this workflow. Let's say you've got 1 million customer emails. They're a total mess. So first, you run a clustering algorithm. It crunches through everything and says, hey, it looks like there are 5 main types of emails here. Then, a person can just look at a few emails from each cluster and give them a name, like spam, invoices, or support tickets. And boom,
You've just created your own labeled dataset. Now you can train a classifier on it to automatically sort every single email that comes in from now on.
So if you remember just one thing today, let it be this. Classification is for prediction. Clustering is for discovery. It's a simple idea, but it's the key to figuring out which tool you need for the job.
So the next time you're staring at a huge mountain of data, you know exactly what to do. You'll start with that one critical question. Do I already know what I'm looking for? Your answer will tell you if you need a teacher or a detective. Thanks for diving into this with me.